Flint Gennari here, talking to you from New York City, the United States of America. So, I'm an artist, photographer, videographer, musician, all-around creative person. I believe that you have to express yourself, or else certain things get suppressed and it makes for bad energy. So get everything out of you that you can. Now, I overcame a lot to be an artist. I did, because when I was born, it was a premature birth. So I had a lot of birth defects. I couldn't speak right, I couldn't hear right, I couldn't listen, I couldn't understand. And today, it's the same. I work on 3 cylinders, not 4 cylinders. But I get by and I overcome what I have to overcome. You know, I've also got a lot of health problems with dyslexia and diabetes and sleep apnea and, believe it or not, other things. So it doesn't matter how you are, you can make art. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You could create. You could do things that nobody else can do. And this is your birthright. And this is what I believe everybody should get out there and try to do what you really want to do, and make your dreams come true, and dream big, because you're not going to reach that, but you'll get somewhere along the line. So since I had so many problems in school when I was in the, first, second, third, fourth grade, I couldn't understand the teacher. Sleep apnea makes me put my head down on the desk, not pay attention, but I was able to use my eyes. And they had textbooks, and I looked at the books, and I saw great photographs. And when I got home, I watched movies. And the movies also told me a lot about photography, and composition, and storytelling. So you could learn on your own, because I am basically self-taught. So as soon as I was able to get a camera of my own, because we're talking about from the 1960s when I grew up, there was no cell phones. You had to have a physical camera with film. You had to learn how to develop film and make prints. And I did that by the time I was 9 years old. So I was able to take pictures of my friends and my world and everything around me. And those pictures are what's in demand today. So even when I was in the 6th grade, I used a Polaroid, which is a camera that spits out the picture almost immediately. So you can make a storyboard or a comic strip. Then I added word balloons. And I had a series like that. So when there's a will, there's a way. I wasn't able to afford a camera until I went to high school. But as soon as I got to high school, I photographed my world there, my friends there, what's going on at the school. So I made a documentary of the school. And I made a documentary of my life growing up. I got involved with guys doing graffiti. I photographed them. I was doing graffiti before them. Before there was a graffiti, before anybody painted a train. I was 9 years old, and I was writing my name and my message on the walls, because that was another way to express myself. And look what happened now. Graffiti is an art form that started in New York, and it's around the world. And luckily, I lived long enough to see it come full circle. I could see how people appreciate art, because art is not a crime. Yeah, so photography also I did at the same time. So tried to make a living from photography after I got married. Before that, it was all black and white photojournalism of things happening around me, because nobody was paying me to go around the world to photograph conflicts or anything of that nature. I had to find things in my own neighborhood to photograph. That's what I did. It's easy. You just look around, because every life is different. Your life is different than your friends. Your life is different than your brothers. How you look at things is different. So everybody's unique, Everybody's story is intelligent. Everybody's story is important. So that's what I'm saying. Let's all get out there and photograph. And today, with the cell phone, it's easier than ever. Because all you have to do is take out your phone and photograph. People think you're talking on the phone and you can photograph them. I got intimidated with the big camera. People, you know, they wanted to kill me. They attacked my car, you know, and what are you taking pictures of me for? Things like that. I almost stopped photography because of that. But I did it. But I can see how you can get intimidated with a big camera. When I go traveling, I don't need a big camera. I got my cell phone. And I can take all the pictures I want. I got 20 Instagrams because I do that many different types of photography. And they're mostly done with the cell phone. And they're very successful. They're award-winning pictures. Nothing wrong with a cell phone. I got many big cameras too because I do professional photography. But if I'm not getting paid, I don't usually bring the big cameras. So there's a lot to talk about. I mean, I did night photography for 5 years. I go out at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. The best pictures were made about an hour before dawn. You got the electric blue light, and you got the time exposure, the camera on the tripod, and you got cars with the tail lights burning into the film. And from that, I learned how to do light painting because I could see that when you do a time exposure in a dark place, light painting, you could really, really make the world that you want. So those I did to amuse myself. But to make a living, I've done weddings, architecture photography. I've done street photography. Street photography is one of my passions. Love to do that. And you know, if you live in a vacuum, you'll think you're the best. But you're not the best. Today with the internet, you'll see other people doing the same kind of photography you're doing, much better. But you can learn from them. And even if you don't know how to do good photography, you're going to get better in spite of yourself. People are going to like what you're doing. So you live with your passion. You got to do what you're geared for. If you got eyes, you should use them. If you got ears, you could use those to become a musician. But even if you don't have good ears, because I actually need a hearing aid in each ear and I cannot hear high tones or low tones, but I wanted to be a musician, So I started playing with friends, and I write songs, and I express myself that way. I even do a little singing. Me, who can't even pronounce words properly. English is like a second language to me. That's how bad I am. But you can still do what you got to do. And so you got to make the kind of life that you want. That's what you got to do. You want to work for somebody? Fine. I always try to find jobs in photography, in art, in video. More and more video I'm doing today. The reason? Because everybody's a photographer. So I got to do video because that might be something they can't do. And that's why my YouTube, I really want you to subscribe to my YouTube because that helps me out. Brings a little bit more money my way, and it's entertaining for you. And I go my own way with YouTube. I'm not a guy who's always like teaching guitar or instructing you about how to do photography. I do all sorts of stuff on my YouTube. I can show you about art. I can show you how to become a success. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get better and better as time goes on. Because, believe it or not, you might be young and think you got all the time in the world. You don't. Life is short. For me, there's not enough hours in the day. I have so many things to do that I can't accomplish everything that I want to do in a day. It's like life gets in the way too. So all of this stuff is just trying to give you some insight on me because everybody's story is going to be different. Photography I really like to do is photograph people. I know how to make them look good. That's a talent and that's a skill. And actually, because I believe in continuing education, I've attended many classes, many seminars. I go to Las Vegas for a week with WPPI, and it's like 200 teachers there and 20,000 students. It's really something. And you can see how you fit in. You see all these guys that are really good at what they do, and they're articulate, they could explain it. So that makes them have a circuit of people that they could teach. And you learn about sales. Sales is really something, because if you could sell somebody something, you can influence them, and now those little points, they could help your whole life. So try to learn about sales, because I have to make a living at photography. Sometimes I go someplace and I print out photographs of people and I sell it to them. Not the worst way to make a living. So there's always something to do, there's always some way to do it. You just have to open your mind, look on the internet, learn from others. And that's what I recommend. You know, photography, art, video, music. That's how I express myself. I've been doing more and more art. I'm inspired by my friends who make their living from art. I mean, I know one guy paints a guitar and he sells it to Eric Clapton. Isn't that great? And he paints cars and he has shows. His whole living and income comes from his art. Boy, that's the way I want to be. I'm telling you. Selena must have been about 12 years old. She first moved in. Started red like fire, grab her eyes, living in a woman's child, that ain't no lie. Neighborhood girl, neighborhood girl, neighborhood girl. Anybody
neighborhood girl. She says, a neighborhood girl.
Thank you so much. This is Flint Gennari signing out.